Uh-oh. Uh-oh. People are making demands. Or as Hulk Hogan would say, the 5 Demandments, man. Joe Rogan shoots down Kamala Harris' podcast interview over demands from her campaign. What kind of demands were they making? Joe Rogan says he has shot down a podcast interview with Vice President Kamala Harris after her campaign had several demands, but insisted he hopes it can still happen. The mega popular podcaster said the Democratic presidential nominees team had wanted him to travel to her and for their chat to last only an hour. How did I know? How did I know there was going to be an issue with her doing 3 hours? How did I know? They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do this is in studio in Austin, Rogan said in a statement on X, adding that the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. So maybe we'll still see her on there. Quote, my sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and to get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make that happen. It comes after former President Donald Trump sat for a 3-hour in-studio interview for the Joe Rogan Experience last Friday. The highly anticipated interview with Republican candidate has already racked up well over 37 million views on YouTube's airing. It's a lot of views. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's refusal to compromise with Harris's team followed reports he'd been negotiation for a negotiate. They must have meant to write negotiating for a sit down with her for weeks, but they opted to pull the plug. 3 hours. 3 hours, Kamala. 3 hours. You can do 3 hours. Come on now. You do 3 hours with family easily, just having a conversation. You can do 3 hours. Come on now. I find it very interesting. They wanted him to travel to her. Why? Why? I mean, is that so that they could control it more or specific scheduling reasons? Why? I find that interesting. He always does in studio. I don't think he's interviewed anyone outside of his studio. Well, I used to watch all the time. I don't think I've ever seen anybody outside of the studio. Well, post your comments down below. Let me tell me this. Do you think they will come to an agreement on the podcast? And ultimately, do you think she will do it? I don't. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my reaction to this news, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Woo!